a good, tremendous effort. When we move in the area of peace and community engagement, the Messengers of Peace program has been able to offer support in over 80% of NSOs here in Africa. And through that, they have been able to support 55 projects in the areas of capacity building, in the areas of governance, in the area of youth program. And through that, still under peace and community engagement, we have had great efforts in NSOs to promote the message of let us be dialogical scouts. Dialogical scouts is meaning that we need to embrace the aspect of dialogue, either it is within our scout groups or even in our NSOs administration. Is that so, Nelson?
Yes. Thank you.
Then I jump onto another area, Skills for Life. This is an area that is still in development, but here in Africa, we have been working on it with our new program, the Scout Renewal. This is our Scout Business Incubator program that has come in partnership with Mondragon University. We had the first cohort that had participants from 13 NSOs. And in this partnership, we are aiming to develop their entrepreneurial skill development and also provide them with seed funds. And in our next area, which is health and well-being, most NSOs here are already part of the Food for Life program. But then again, we have areas and work that has already started in mental health. We have a group of scouts who are really championing for good mental health and also giving us initiatives or even ways we can promote our mental health. Another area we can expand is that we can talk about is that Food for Life expanded with a reach of more than 2,800 scouts. And so with that, we have had more leaders, 600 leaders, being part of the Food for Life. Nelson, could you take us to the next area?
Yes, Grace. You talked about mental health, and that reminds me of the COVID-19 pandemic. When COVID struck, scouts in Africa never went to hide. They came out and supported their communities in different ways, from raising awareness to providing hand washing stations in local markets, but also generally working with partners to ensure that their communities were better prepared, better informed about the pandemic and how to protect themselves. We thank you all for all those efforts that ensured that scouting did not stop despite the pandemic. The Africa Scout Foundation and the Re-Energizing Scouting Fund provided resources to support national scout organizations to implement initiatives that are geared towards recovery from the pandemic. Safe from harm continues to be a very important area of focus for us as a movement, and we cannot overemphasize the fact that the Scout movement needs to continue creating a safe space for everyone in it to feel safe and to be able to participate effectively. Over the last triennium, and picking from the World Scout Conference, there was a resolution that required national scout organizations to fully comply with safe from harm as a key constitutional element. And a lot of work went towards helping national scout organizations to put in place safe from harm policies and frameworks to ensure that they are on the path towards full compliance. A regional safe from harm network has been established to provide support to national scout organizations to enhance their work in this area. And talking of support, the WASM services have continued to deliver the much needed support to national scout organizations. Grace has just mentioned some of the key areas of work that we've been focusing on over the triennium, and across 13 areas of services, we have been able to deliver over 200 service requests to national scout organizations. At least 94% of all the national scout organizations in the region have benefited from this support. And this has been thanks to our 53 WASM consultants that have been trained to provide this support. Let's acknowledge them, please. I just talked about Safe from Harm, and it's interesting to know that that was the most requested service on the platform. But having said that, the triennium has not been without any challenges. We just talked about the COVID-19 pandemic, which no doubt affected a lot of our work as a movement. And we're still living in that moment where we need to continuously be conscious about the after effects of the pandemic and how, as a movement, we can continue to recover. So that has been a challenge, and it's an area that will continue to be a focus in the coming triennium to help us overcome that together as a movement. The area of resource mobilization continues to be a challenge. As we experience more growth, we need more resources to support our work, and consistently we are working to try and find additional or diversified sources of income to support the work of the movement across the region. But even having said that, across the world we've witnessed an increase in the cost of living, and that we cannot overlook because it affects both us as an organization or as a movement. It affects National Scout organizations. It also affects the scouts and their families. So if they are impacted at that level, then as a movement we are also impacted, and we continue to work towards finding ways for which to overcome the challenges we experience. Grace?
Okay. Then I move to looking forward. We now have a proposed regional triennial plan 2022-2025. And we have 6 key areas. The first one is educational methods. The second one is good governance. The third is safe from harm. The fourth is communication and partnership. The fifth is growth and pandemic recovery. And the next one is sustainability. I know you may be asking yourself, how are we able to come up with this plan? And I want to appreciate the NSOs here that